more and more of these incidents come out, definitely, right, we are going to reach more to the point of equality. Right now, the Indian legal system is completely supporting women. A lot of women are also abusing the power, and we're seeing a lot of these cases. They don't need any evidence, right? If a woman says that you've done something wrong, they don't need any evidence to arrest you. They'll just arrest you like this. Alright, guys, so something really sad has happened. A lot of guys are scared, texting me on the group, texting me on Instagram, and asking me, is it safe to go out? Is it safe to go out, approach women just the way we did earlier? And guys, one thing I want to tell you is this incident that happened, it's a very sad incident in itself. I mean, this shouldn't have happened. And I strongly feel that the cab guy was lucky, not because he got beaten up to pulp, but because the CCTVs were there, right? If the CCTVs were not there, because of the legal, power that women hold in our country, the girl could have done any case on him, right? He would have been arrested. His whole career would have been finished, and I mean, whatever, right? He was doing would have been finished. He would have been landed up in jail. So I think he was pretty lucky, but he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I want to create this video to give you my 2 cents on the whole thing and to tell you how to take care of this kind of a situation if you ever land up in this kind of a situation, and how to not land in this kind of situation. Also, guys, I have a really crazy idea I want to share with you guys by the end of the video, so stick along. So let's talk about what really happened over there. The girl was agitated, she was probably frustrated, right? And this can happen with you also in game. If you're going to approach a girl, maybe a dog died, right? And maybe she's kind of angry, she's kind of pissed, and she wants to take all her aggression on you. What do you do in that kind of a situation? Now, I want to share a small story with you guys. Now, back in Europe, I went to Europe for a month, just to do pickup for a solo trip. And back in Europe, there was an incident which kind of shocked me. It was a bizarre incident that we were in a club in Italy, and they kicked all the Indians out of there, right? They were like, the guys came up to me, they're like, hey man, you guys got to leave. And I was there with two of my other friends who were also Indians. One guy had a beard. I tell you how that mattered. So one guy had a beard, two of us were clean shaven, and we were inside the club. We ordered a couple of food, some food, some drinks in the table, and the guys came in, right, and they're like, hey, you guys got to leave. And we have just ordered, right? We just entered the place, we just ordered. And I asked them, why do you want us to leave? And he just told us that there has been an incident in the women's washroom where an Indian guy molested a girl, and the guy had a beard. So, he was thinking that it maybe is my friend, and then we had to leave that place, right? So we left that place. And it was a bizarre incident. It was my first day in Europe, and my game, I think at that time I was, doing pretty good, man. I was talking to a lot of girls. I was chilling with a few girls too, so it was pretty decent. And they could have seen us and they could have just thought that they're decent guys. However, they judged us based on our nationality, and it was sort of racist. However, I have experienced this before, and this is what happens. There are bad elements in both the genders, right? And because of the rape scene that happened in 2012, and I have a story for that too. When I was in Singapore at that time, our teachers, right? Our teachers used to judge us, like all the Indians, and not only the teachers, the students, everyone, right? If you are an Indian who's living abroad, you might be able to relate with this, that when that rape incident happened, a lot of people had a very bad outlook on Indians specifically. So whenever an incident happens, related to sexual harassment, anything related to women, it will be highlighted, all right? It will be highlighted, and the reason for that is our media. Our media is a gem for the country, right? They're trying to fuck the whole country. But anyway, moving back to Singapore, when I was in Singapore, I felt a lot of racism during that time. People were judging, Indians, and you might have felt that too if you're an Indian living abroad. However, and these kind of things will happen all across the world, right? And you can't really wish for them to change, because these things are gonna continue as it is. And soon we are gonna reach the point of equality. More and more of these incidents come out. Definitely, right? We are going to reach more to the point of equality. Right now, the Indian legal system is completely supporting women and empowering women, and I think that's okay. That's all right. However, a lot of women are also abusing the power, and we're seeing a lot of these cases. More and more of these cases come out, we're going to hit complete level of equality. So it's bad for the guy, but actually he took one for the team. If you think about it, right? He took one for the team. It's as sad as it is. He really did take one for the team. So it's bad for the guy, and I hope you don't land in any kind of, this kind of an incident. But if you do, all right, first thing you have to understand is, I'll tell you a little story about one of my employees who's working with me, who fell in this kind of an incident while doing game in India. So this guy was in CP, and he approached a couple of girls back to back on the same spot. So he's approaching a couple of girls, and this is a very rookie mistake that a lot of beginners make, and I just want to address that. If you're going to a mall, do a couple of approaches, right? If you're just practicing game for the first few times, do a couple of approaches on the ground floor, then move to the second floor, then move to the third floor, rather than just sticking to the ground floor for all the time. And it's just common sense, right? It's just fucking common sense. So for this guy, he's doing a couple of approaches. He's just, starting out. He's doing a couple of approaches. I think he did around 10 to 11 approaches in the same spot, and one girl saw what he was doing. And he was not really proficient at games, so he was just asking the directions, right? He's just asking, hey, do you know any healthy places to eat around here? Hey, do you know any good restaurants around here? And that's about all he's doing, right? So this girl just saw him, and he approached that girl, and then he approached another girl, and this girl saw what he was doing. She called the cops, right? And this was in CP. The guy got arrested. The cops came, took them to the police station, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do a sexual harassment case on him. We're gonna do this, and he didn't even touch the girl. He just verbally asked her if there are good any healthy places to eat around here, right? And I know this guy, right? He's a very shy guy, so I know he could not have, even been physical with the girl, right? So this guy was in the police station. I went personally to help him. I went over there, spoke to the cops, and all they wanted was money. As sad as it is, all they wanted was 10,000 rupees. And we ended up paying them, I think, around 4 or 5 grand for this. And it was an isolated incident. It was, once in 4 or 5 years. But it was extremely sad to see that they don't need any evidence, right? If a woman says that you've done something wrong, they don't need any evidence to arrest you. They'll just arrest you like this. So I spoke to the guy. We hired a lawyer, right? And our lawyer told us there are certain things that you can do. There's certain things that you can do to keep yourself safe if you're going out to game, if you're going out to approach girls. One thing is, guys, you don't know, what the other person's mental state is. Maybe they're a fucking wacko, right? Like this girl, she's a whack job. So you don't know what the person's state is. So what you need to do is you need to carry a mic always, guys. And this is what our lawyer recommended. Carry a mic, record all your conversations, right? So at least if you land up in this kind of a situation, you have the audio recording. If the CCTV is not there, at least you have the audio recording. And guys, we do that on our boot camps as well. We do that wherever we go, because that is required, right? If you land up in this kind of situation, there is no evidence. You don't have any evidence. The girl can say whatever she wants, and you can have a very bad time. It will not be a pleasant time for you. So make sure, if you have these kind of fears that you might land up in this kind of a situation, you are in a very conservative city, I would strongly suggest wear an audio recorder, go out, game hard, but record some audios as well. But also saying that, I also want to tell you, don't make it a limiting belief. If you think if some incident like this has happened with you, I had one of my clients who had been banned from 2 malls, right? He had been banned from 2 malls, and then he took a boot camp from me. So he wanted to learn about social calibration, and if something like this has happened with you, maybe you have faced a situation which you could not manage, which you could not control, and it has given you some limiting factors, I'll strongly suggest you take a guided program. Because I have a lot of clients who are managing at 48, 50, and one of the common regrets is that they should have started this earlier. Apart from that, guys, as I told you, I also had a very, me and my team, we had a crazy idea about helping all of the guys out there. So we are planning to open a subscription-based service for all the students out there who cannot really afford the products that we have. So if you're a student, who's been wanting some guided coaching, and in this product, it's a vague idea right now. I want you guys to let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. In this product, we're going to tell you a lot of things, a lot of different things, how to manage yourself, how to game in a very proper and a specific way where you don't land in these kind of situations to begin with, and what to do if you land in this kind of a situation. Because unfortunately, this can happen with anyone, right? This can happen with you, this can happen with me, this can happen with anyone. It doesn't really matter, all right? And going out in the field over and over again, one thing I've also realized is, doing game in India for 5 years, I think I've been in 2 fights. One was in the boot camp where a client, approached a girl and a guy, and I stopped the fight. It was just like a 2 seconds, scuffle. And one was with me in Bangalore when I was showing some demonstrations on a boot camp, and both of them, funnily, I thought Bangalore people are really polite, but both of them happened in Bangalore. So anyway, I still love that city for game. So moving on, these situations, happen from time to time. Don't let it be a limiting belief. Do not let it be a limiting belief. Do not let it hold you back from what you really want. Because you have to understand, at the end of the day, the only limited resource you have is time. So do not waste your time just thinking about it, thinking irrational fears, and just sitting at home being like, hey, if I approach a girl, she's going to slap the shit out of me. Don't think about all of that, because the reality is completely different from what you're thinking and what you're expecting to happen. All right. And with that being said, I'm sure smaller cities are going to be much more open. There's going to be equality in smaller cities as more and more of these incidents pop out. However, I strongly hope you're not that guy, right? I don't want you to get in, situations, messy situations. And since you're watching our videos, you're definitely in the top 1% who's working on himself, working on communication, learning about attraction, learning about how to approach women in a more guided way rather than just randomly going out and approaching women. However, I also want to give a huge thanks to the Gap guy who took one for the team, and it's extremely sad. It's extremely sad to see what happened with him. But I think we all can learn from this. Whenever you get in this kind of a situation, it's always best to keep your doors locked and to just exit this kind of a situation. You can't really reason with a person who's crazy. So just go out, approach girls, and be careful.